Hey there gamers, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the nostalgia pool and taking a trip down memory lane as we count down my personal top 10 favorite Nintendo 64 games that made my childhood unforgettable. But before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up if you're as excited about these games as I am. Starting off with our runner-ups, these games nearly made the cut, and they are absolute classics in their own right. Some of the reasons they are not in the top 10 are because I may not have finished or played them all the way through, or the nostalgia I had for other titles outweighed these gems. Mario Kart 64. This game deserves recognition for its addictive and competitive multiplayer kart racing, making it a staple at sleepovers and gatherings. Star Fox 64. Star Fox 64's on-the-rails, space combat, and branching paths offered thrilling replayability and showcased the Nintendo 64's graphical capabilities. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Pod racing in Episode 1 Racer was a high-speed thrill ride that let players feel the intensity of the Star Wars universe. Superman 64. While infamous for its flaws, Superman 64 remains a curiosity in gaming history. Despite being notorious for bad reviews, I simply just loved flying around in this game. It was one of the first true open-world games before Grand Theft Auto. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1. The first Tony Hawk's Pro Skater laid the foundation for the series with its addictive skateboarding gameplay and amazing soundtrack. Xena Warrior Princess: The Talisman of Fate. Xena Warrior Princess offered an entertaining fighting game experience for fans of the TV series. As a big fan of the TV series, having this game as a runner-up is a no-brainer. Donkey Kong 64. I've got to be honest, I've never played this game, but it's undeniable that many gamers love this title. Donkey Kong 64's collectathon gameplay and multiple characters added depth to the platforming genre. Spider-Man swinging into action with fluid web swinging mechanics and comic book style storytelling made it on our runner-up list. While many of you may be upset that this game didn't make our top 10 list, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask just didn't grasp me in the same way that Ocarina of Time did. The darker tone and time-based gameplay offered a unique and unforgettable Zelda experience, but I did think the time mechanic was a bit too rigid for my tastes. The Mario Party series, with Mario Party 1, 2, and 3, brought friends together with its collection of fun and competitive mini-games. Paper Mario. Paper Mario's charming, paper-crafted world and RPG elements delivered a delightful adventure in the Mushroom Kingdom. I remember watching the commercials for this game as a kid, but unfortunately never got to play it, so that's why it's not on the top 10 list. Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards. While I never outright owned this game, I have fond memories of renting it several times from my local Blockbuster and loving it. My favorite transformation is Fridge Kirby, and I really wish he would make an appearance in other games. Kirby 64 combined Kirby's copy ability with a unique fusion system, creating diverse and enjoyable gameplay. Lastly, we have F-Zero X. This is a franchise that many of you, and myself included, really wish would make a comeback to modern systems. So now that we've discussed the runner-ups, let's dive into my top 10 personal Nintendo 64 games that defined my childhood. At number 10, we have Scooby-Doo Classic Creep Capers. This one may be a bit of a shocker, but the game captured the essence of the beloved Scooby-Doo series perfectly. It combined intriguing mysteries, quirky characters, and the iconic Scooby-Doo humor in a fun and engaging adventure. Solving puzzles and unmasking villains with Scooby-Doo and the gang was a nostalgic joy. As a big fan of the Scooby-Doo series my entire life, it's no wonder this game makes it on the list. Coming in at number 9 is Perfect Dark. Coming out at the end of the Nintendo 64 life cycle, Perfect Dark pushed the limits of what the Nintendo 64 could do. It offered an immersive single-player campaign with an engaging story and introduced a robust multiplayer mode. With its futuristic setting, diverse weaponry, and intelligent AI, it set a new standard for console shooters. My favorite gun to this day is still the one that can shoot through walls. At number 8, we have Pokemon Stadium. For Pokemon fans, Pokemon Stadium was a dream come true. It allowed players to transfer their Game Boy Pokemon into 3D battles on the big screen. The minigames and challenging Gym Leader Castle provided hours of additional fun, making it a must-play for Pokemon enthusiasts. At number 7, we have Banjo-Kazooie. Rare's Banjo-Kazooie delivered a whimsical and vibrant 3D platforming experience. Players took on the roles of Banjo the Bear and Kazooie the Bird, exploring expansive worlds, solving puzzles, and facing memorable villains. Its charming characters, witty humor, and memorable soundtrack still resonate with gamers today. GoldenEye 007 wasn't just a great movie tie-in. At number 6, it became a defining game for the first-person shooter genre on consoles. Its intense multiplayer battle with friends and iconic single-player missions set a high bar for what first-person shooter games could achieve on the Nintendo 64. It also included a variety of fun modes like paintball mode and big head mode, which made it a blast to play with friends in the living room. At number 5, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. This game improved upon its predecessor in every way. With a killer soundtrack, expansive levels, and deep trick system, it immersed players in the world of skateboarding like never before. It's a masterpiece of arcade-style sports gaming, and it also included a bunch of fun cheats that massively increased replayability. It's no wonder it's possible to get lost in this game for hours on end. This game took skateboarding into the mainstream. At number 4, Diddy Kong Racing brought a unique variety to the racing genre, allowing players to switch between karts, planes, and hovercraft. Its adventure mode, engaging races, and memorable characters made it a standout title in the Nintendo 64 library. Sadly, to this day, many of the features and innovations which were present in this game still have yet to be implemented in more mainstream racers like Mario Kart. Oh, how I wish Nintendo would just take a page out of this game's book. Super Smash Bros. At number 3 was the ultimate crossover event, pitting Nintendo's iconic characters against each other in epic battles. Its accessible yet deep gameplay made it a hit at parties, and laid the foundation for an enduring franchise. The first of its kind, this game felt like a revolution and was practically unheard of at the time to be able to play with all of your favorite Nintendo characters in the same game. The innovation of adding items to a fighting game also put this at the forefront of the fighting game genre. At number 2, to say Super Mario 64 was a groundbreaking game would be an understatement. It introduced players to the world of 3D platforming. This was the first time Mario made the jump to 3D, and at the time was revolutionary. Mario's adventures in the Mushroom Kingdom were a marvel of design and innovation, setting a high bar for future platformers and being a template for the entire 3D platforming genre. I remember countless nights at my friend's house playing this game until one day he eventually just sold me his 64, which I bought with my allowance money. And now, before we reveal our number 1 title, I'd like to ask you all, if you're enjoying this video, then please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. It'll help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers and keep us making content like this. Now, without further ado, the number 1 title is Quest 64. I remember seeing Quest 64 at my local Blockbuster and wanting to give it a spin. I was itching for an RPG in 3D on the Nintendo 64, and this seemed like the title. Unfortunately, a few weeks ago, I learned by watching YouTuber RGT65 that this game is apparently garbage, so I decided to throw it in here as a joke. The real number 1 title is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. No surprise here, Ocarina of Time remains a masterpiece of game design. Its epic quest, intricate dungeons, unforgettable soundtrack, and memorable characters set a new standard for action-adventure games. Similar to Super Mario 64, this was the first time the Zelda series made a leap to 3D, and it was a joy for fans of the series to see how elements of old games adapted. The use of the ocarina for puzzles and time manipulation was revolutionary, and its impact on gaming is immeasurable. To date, many gamers still consider this game not just the best game on the Nintendo 64, but the best video game of all time. So, there you have it, our top 10 Nintendo 64 game list of all time. What do you think? Did your favorites make the list? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe, ring that bell notification, and give this video a thumbs up if you want more epic gaming content. Thanks for joining us on this trip down memory lane, and until next time, happy gaming.